this is Kyle with Wild Hare Moto here with another video. Haven't made a video in a while, but I had a great race today, so I wanted to share it. This is TORCS round 8 at Styx in Eagle Lake, Texas. We had a couple of days that were a mix of sun and rain. This is day 2 of racing, so the course is pretty worn in. This race is taking place at 2 p.m. I had done an 11 a.m. practice, and it was slicker than snot on a doorknob. It was pretty unrideable, which wouldn't have been the worst thing. I kind of like conditions like that. But with a race that happened at 12:15 for the C and D classes and sun that had come out, I thought, with them working the track in and with the sun cooking the mud a little bit, that it might tack up pretty well, which is exactly what happened. So we ended up with a great course. It even shaped a lot during the hour that I raced. It went from a little bit slick in the beginning to really well worked in by the end. It was a lot of fun. Had a class of 3 dudes total. I think 4 had signed up, but only 3 actually ran the race. I'm pretty happy with how it went, as we'll see. And ran a 2024 Beta 300RR. I discovered at the start line that my battery terminals were a little bit loose, so I ended up running over to the truck before they started waving the green flag. I wasn't parked very far away, and I tightened up the battery terminal real quick, and yeah, that's about it. So let's watch some racing. This was not the line to pick here. There's quite a few alternate lines on this course, and tried to figure out what were the better ones as the day went on. Got 2 other 2-strokes in the class. That was pretty convenient, because then I knew if I had a 4-stroke barking behind me, it wasn't anyone in my class. And this is a fun little hill climb here. You kind of hop up from this first little hit, and then some interesting lines up the face of it, really bumpy up there, and then a sharp downhill here with a couple options at the bottom. I liked this line here for most of the day, and then pretty whooped out terrain, but I enjoyed that, and it seemed like I was getting through the whoop sections. Not great, but maybe better, a little bit better than the guys I was racing, so that was good. It was a really cool couple of guys to race against. It's Jeff Hanna, I believe, and Larry Foreman, looking at the score sheet. So good dudes. I love racing with 40A class. They try hard, but they're not like super aggressive or trying to knock anyone off the track or anything. So it's a good, healthy level of competitiveness for pretty fast guys to race against. Was coming up on Jeff here, who stalled his 2008 YZ250. That's such a clean YZ. Coming off of many years on an 06 and also a 2021 myself. I really liked that bike, and it was kind of fun to race against a fast old YZ. I like that bike. after passing both of those guys, I knew I was in first place here. I was pretty pumped. I haven't run first in a while. And this track had a great mix of everything, like wet, slick routes, and then right here I'm coming up on the biggest, most wide open section. I'm pretty sure I was pulling 5th gear on most of my passes through this one. And it was just so much fun. I feel like the really wide gearing of this beta was probably an advantage for me here. The bike was really stable, so I was able to go as fast as I want. You know, no tank slappers or anything. And this was a lot of fun throughout the day to just rip that section pretty much as fast as I could. It really has like 3 stretches where you can go pretty wide open. The one in, the one I just did, and then this one. And yeah, there he goes. So yeah, this is a great race. A lot of like cat and mouse with Jeff and I. He's a great racer. He might have been faster than me on this day, but we'll see how the race goes. cut ahead here to later on lap 2, coming into my favorite section of the day, this high-speed section. I think on my GPS I logged that I had gone 51 miles an hour was my max speed. I'm sure this is where I was doing it. I'm not sure which lap. This section and the next section up here coming up after a couple of turns, just super whooped out. You can see Jeff in front of me just pounding through the whoops, and yeah, they're just pretty gnarly, but a lot of fun. Really good traction on this track this day. And I'm not sure what happened, probably a stall there, but I am back in first place. It doesn't feel the greatest, you know, getting first place off someone stalling their bike or whatever was going on with him there, but I was keeping up with him, you know, when his bike was running the whole time, so I don't feel too bad about it. Plus, hey, it's a race, you know, gotta go fast and not stall your bike, so. But nevertheless, I think most guys who race know what I mean, like, you'd rather everybody's bike runs good and no silly mistakes and everyone races their hardest, and like that's how you want to get into first place, right? But you also take what you can get. Alright, so I'm going to jump ahead here to about, I think it's lap 7. I basically held in first place, and then looking at the times, lap 7, which I did 8 laps total, lap 7 was my fastest lap of the day, so we'll take a look at that and see how the race ends up. So I can hear a bike barking behind me, and it doesn't strike me as a YZ, but there it is. That's the YZ that was in second place behind me, so I'm a little bummed that I just let him by. And I think what happened was it was another 4-stroke close to him that sound was kind of blending in and led me to just kind of try to get out of the way and keep my own speed up, but there we go. I gave up first place. I think that was the bike that I was hearing blended in with the sound of the YZ. So, I mean, in this wide open section, Jeff would have probably passed me anyway, but I would like to have not pulled over for him, ideally. And as quickly as it went away, I got first place back. But with the way he caught me on my fastest lap of the day, I wasn't feeling safe at all, so I was just going for it as much as I could for the rest of this lap. Well, nothing much changes. The rest of this lap, I was just going for it, and then my GoPro died before the finish line. So I'll cut ahead to me sitting and waiting at the finish here, waiting for Jeff to come by. I wanted to like shake his hand and see how it went. Turned out when I passed him in that corner for the last time, his motor had actually locked up. So that means I ended up getting first place. Pretty stoked about that. It's been a couple years. Would have been nice to do in a bigger class, but I'll take it.
Oh, you do? If I shifted up there, I couldn't get over that roller. I hit that roller.
So thanks for watching. I just want to say also a big thanks to the TORCS crew for putting on these races, and this time for dealing with the weather. If you're in or around Central Texas, I can't highly recommend enough coming and racing a TORCS race, no matter what your skill level is. And then huge thanks to San Marcos Motorcycles. I bought my bike there. Phil there provides great rider support, and it's just a great place to buy a bike if you're looking to buy a Beta or a Sherco or like a used street bike or anything like that, a trials bike. In or around Central Texas, they're definitely worth stopping by.